Today we're going to be continuing the storyline of New Superman. You see, once New 52 Superman died, his powers were absorbed by China and pumped into Kong Kenan, where he discovered that there is an organization that has now created a Justice League of China. He then discovered that there's a secret organization plotting against him, and there's more superheroes in China than any of us assumed. And today we're going to be learning more about all of those aspects of the Chinese superhero movement going on in the DC universe. But today's episode is sponsored by Dollar Shave Club, who, as you know, gives you great razors delivered right to your door. But if you still don't want to leave your house, you still don't want to go buy your daily essentials, they now deliver body washes and One Wipe Charlies. I'll let you assume what the One Wipe Charlies are, but for only $5 you can click our link down below, or you can stick around to the end of this video where I'll let you know a little bit more about what Dollar Shave Club can bring right to your door. When we last left off with Kong Kenan, he had just revealed to the world that he is the new Superman of China. And not only are the people of China watching, but everyone from the States are as well. As Kenan goes on explaining that he is the new leader of the new superhero group, Dylan, the Wonder Woman of China, tightens her lasso around Kenan and pushes him into the Batmobile. As Bioxy, the Chinese Batman, makes a hasty retreat, the news continues to display Kenan all across the network. Zong Dan and his group of writers each watch. One of the men asks, "Isn't that his son?" And after sighing, Zong Dan says yes, they need to move now. Back in the sky in the Batmobile, Bioxy begins heading down towards the water when Kenan says the first thing that this car can do is fly, and now it can swim as well. Bioxy reports back telling the crab shell to open up. They have a perp in custody. And a voice responds back telling them that they are clear, when suddenly Kenan sees a large underwater facility. As everyone gets out of the Batmobile, Kenan asks what is this place, and Bioxy explains that it's the only prison in the nation equipped to house metahumans. China's most dangerous criminals are kept here. Kenan runs over to a tank full of water and he asks why is there an aquarium in here, and Dylan tells him that it's a custom cell to neutralize the powers of its particular occupant. Through the glass, a starospore floats by. As everyone leads Sunbeam to her cell, they pass the human firecracker and he looks out stating that that boy is Zong Dan's son, Kong Kenan. Back at the Oriental Pearl Tower, August, General in Iron, member of the Great Ten, asks how was it that she was released and how is it that she's been allowed to create a Justice League of China. Omen says that if he wasn't too busy filling out paperwork for his bureaucratic masters, he may have noticed China was in crisis. China must be protected and they will do whatever it takes. Iron tells her that someone is providing her with political cover, and he's going to find out who it is, and when he does, he's going to shut her down. Omen ends the transmission, and a few moments later, Kenan and the others walk in. Omen says that he sees that he was able to remove his visor, and Kenan says, yeah, it wasn't a problem once he got his super strength back. Omen then takes out a large gun, stating that it wasn't her only compliance device, and she blasts Kenan with the green energy. Omen yells, asking who gave him permission to talk. Dylan screams for her to stop, and as Omen lets off of the trigger, Kenan crawls away, stating that he is out of here. Omen tells him no, he and his father are going to need them more than ever. How long is it going to take until the villains appear on their doorsteps? A month, maybe two tops? Later, atop the Oriental Pearl building, Kenan sits flipping through some of the homework that he was given. Dylan flies up asking if everything's okay, and Kenan kinda shrugs it off. Dylan hands him a soda, stating that she heard that he was a fan. And just then, Bioxy comes out asking if they got him one of those as well. Dylan tells him of course, and Kenan then says that that is what his face looks like. But in his head, he thinks no wonder he wears a mask. He's got acne. Bioxy takes a sip of his soda, stating that before they left, he was wondering how they knew Wei Li's security system had a direct link to their systems. Well, he's done some digging and he figured out who they were going to be attacking next. 2 days ago, Liu Lixin was attacked. His father, Long Di, is a CEO of China Southwest Airlines, and yesterday Wei Li, CEO of Wei Data, was attacked. Liu and Wei are two of the three partners in the ultra-private investment group. Their third partner is named Zhang, a professor of marine biology in the Shanghai Ocean University. Kenan says okay, that doesn't explain why they're connected, and Bioxy tells him that it's because those three are investing in them. They fund the Ministry of Self-Reliance. Dylan says that they should go and stop this attack before it happens, and Bioxy says that it would be against protocol, but thinks it's okay. The three then toast, and Dylan says, let's do it! Justice League of China! Later that night, as Kenan is carried, because he still doesn't have his flying back, they set down at the university. Before the three of them can get very far, Zhang runs out shouting that he's been expecting them. He heard what they are. Slaves of the West tried to do the same to Wei Li. Kenan tells him that he's got them confused with someone else. They're here to help. And Zhang yells that he is already prepared for their arrival. He pushes a button and giant serpents come crashing out, and Kenan asks, don't we have an Aquaman of China? And Bioxby says, no, Dr. Omen didn't see the point in having one. The serpents then begin knocking everyone down, and Dylan says that she knows this creature. It's called a Zhang Lu. Its toxin is in its veins, and whatever they do, don't make it bleed. So what does Keenan do but rip off the serpent's whiskers from its face? The blood begins to spill out, burning Keenan's boot, and he says, thankfully, he has invulnerability. And Dylan shouts, didn't she just say don't make it bleed? And Keenan asks, what was he supposed to do, let them get eaten? Keenan then thinks again as he looks back. What if he poured the acid into the creature's own eyes? He smacks the serpent with the whisker, blinding it, and says, see? Bioxby tells Dylan that he can't believe he's saying this, but follow the dummy's lead. As the three work to stop the remaining serpents, they hear Zhang shout for someone to save him. And as everyone looks, Blue Condor asks Keenan, remember me? Remember how I could control air currents? Suddenly, Keenan begins to gasp for air and his lungs won't fill with it. Bioxby then asks, who are they? And the Flying Dragon General steps forward, stating that they are the freedom fighters of China. Allow them safe passage or Superman dies. Dylan and Bioxby begin to set their weapons down, and as Dylan comes back up, she whips the lasso around Dragon's sword and pulls it to his hand. Ghost Woman then fires a wave of construct ghosts at Bioxby, and Bioxby then says short-term solid light constructs. Pretty cool stuff. Condor continues to pull the air out of Keenan, but just before Keenan passes out, Condor is hit in the back of the head. He asks what the hell, and Dragon says, it was supposed to be a bluff, we're not supposed to kill them. Keenan then jumps back to his feet, crushing Condor's hand, stating that this should mess up your air control powers, right? As Condor pulls back, Keenan cracks his knuckles, stating, alright, this time, I got more than just soda to hit you with. With one punch, Keenan sends Condor flying out the window as he shouts, ha-ha! Condor then quickly flies back over to hit him, but Keenan laughs again as he kicks him back into a wall outside. Dylan calls to Keenan that they need to stop Dragon. He's getting away with Zhang. So Keenan turns back, punching the ground, creating a small earthquake, knocking both Dragon and Zhang off the mechanical horse. Keenan then yells to Zhang to run, but Dragon gets back up and says, I have a question for you. The American Superman stands for ideals more important than any one individual. Is it the same with you? Are you acting for the greater good? 2 of my fellow freedom fighters have disappeared, and it is believed that they are being held by a shadow organization known as the Ministry of Self-Reliance. So if you really are the new Superman, then fight with us for truth, justice, and democracy. Help the freedom fighters. Keenan hesitates for a moment, and then Dragon brings his swords together, blasting Keenan and says, that look on your face, it's like a dog being asked to bite the hand of its master. He jumps onto his mechanical horse and he flies off, and Keenan doesn't give chase. Later, back at the Oriental Pearl building, the three return, and in a rather different happy tone, Omen welcomes everyone back. Keenan asks why she's never acted like this before. She's being friendly and human, and Bioxby tells him that he's never seen her like this either. This can't be good. Omen smiles and says that she would like to introduce Lainey Lan. She is from the primetime Shanghai. Keenan then asks how did she find us, and Lainey then says that she's a reporter. She can figure things out. As Keenan and Lainey talk, Omen looks at Dylan and says that she still has a dumbfounded look on her. Explain. Dylan then asks why is she here. She thought that they were supposed to be secret. Omen tells her that Lainey is here to help them make their debut. But before the interview, she needs to speak with her team for a moment. Omen pulls everyone away and tells them, listen carefully. You'll do exactly as I say. There is going to be a story on the Justice League of China. You will only speak when spoken to and only respond with short, polite, and vague answers. You will also take care not to give out details about the ministry. As far as Miss Lan is concerned, our group is another government-approved task force like the Great 10. Dylan then says, wait, we aren't a government task force and you want us to be on TV? Bioxby smiles and says, we're going to show the West that we're their equals. And Omen then goes on stating, do this and I may overlook your little field trip. Keenan then asks, you knew? And Omen says, fortunately for you, I am pleased by your success. However, I am displeased by your complete disregard for protocol. Violently displeased. Back over in the crab shell prison, Ghost Woman sits in her cell, forcing herself to vomit. As she opens up her mouth, a piece of paper crawls out, and that paper turns into Folding Paper Man. He yawns, stating that he's gonna take it that things with Zhang didn't work out. Well, he's happy to be their contingency plan. One of the guards calls out that they have an intruder, but before they can finish his request, Paper then folds his arm and sticks it out, slashing at the guard's throat. Back in the Oriental Pearl building, the interview with Lainey ends, and Omen looks at Keenan, seeing that he is visibly upset. She asks what's wrong, and Keenan says that he would like to check on his dad, make sure that everything's okay. It just hit him that everyone knows his secret identity. Omen looks at Dylan and Bioxby and tells them to escort Keenan home. But over in the crab shell prison, Sunbeam and Ghost Woman call out to the human Firecracker while carrying a glove, stating that it's been years and they haven't forgotten him. Firecracker says that he never doubted them. Is my brother with you? and paper says that they were captured, but he managed to escape. Firecracker puts his glove on, and there's a loud crack-a-boom as he fires blasts into the remaining guards, stating that they will need something before they leave. He goes on, showing that the Ministry has been working on an ultimate weapon, one that controls minds. Firecracker walks over to a tank containing the Staros Spore, and he tells everyone that with this weapon, they'll have an army. Back with Keenan, Bioxy drops Keenan off at his house, and Keenan runs in asking if everything's alright. Keenan sees his dad in the shadows watching the TV, and he says, "Thank God, I was worried Flying Dragon General had gotten to you." That's when Zongdan stands up, and he steps into the light in the Flying Dragon General costume, and he tells Keenan, "Sit, we have much to discuss." Zongdan begins to pour a cup of tea, and Keenan thinks that this is weird. His dad has never done anything like that before. The two sit at the table. Zongdan says that they both have questions. He can go first. Keenan tells him that when his mom died, it felt like our family was broken. Now this? Why? You didn't have time for me because you were a supervillain? Zongdan drinks his tea and he says, "Superhero. And yes, allow me to explain how me and your mother met. It all started with your brother, Zonglun, a long time ago. Zonglun was at a protest, and that's when I saw your mother, Kuang Meitai. I joined the protest to try and get close to Meitai, but soon I was too actually involved in the protest, trying to aim for truth, justice, and democracy. During the rally, I was attacked by the officials, and Meitai was waiting by my bedside until I woke up. After that, we grew up as a family, and that's when you were born. The two of us left all of the protesting and such behind, but that was until 12 years later, when Zonglun sent me an email with videos of the Western superheroes. Seeing how the superheroes were held in such high regard, Meitai decided it was time for us to act, and that's when she became a hero. The Liberty Goddess. 2 months ago, her plane came down, and it wasn't an accident, and there's proof that it wasn't. Afterwards, I contacted Zonglun and spoke with our old colleagues and formed the Freedom Fighters of China. Keenan then says, "Wait, what do you mean by they?" Zongdan then goes on stating that it was the Ministry of Self-Reliance, the very organization that you are working for, is the ones that killed your mother. But before Keenan can ask another question, the TV plays in the other room, and Lainey Lon reports that there are several supervillains out terrorizing the city. Zongdan then says, "My fellow freedom fighters, the plan worked! Come with me, join the fight for truth, justice, and democracy." A short while later in the city, Firecracker leads the other freedom fighters into their fight when suddenly a voice calls out to the officers on the scene. Keenan picks up a car, telling them that they better run before he puts this on their head. Firecracker runs over to Zongdan, stating, "Brother, how long has it been?" And Zongdan tells him, "Far too long, but please, allow me to introduce you to our newest compatriot, Kong Keenan." Firecracker turns to Keenan, telling him, "Welcome to our ranks and welcome to our war." Keenan then says, "Wait, your uncle Zonglun?" Just then, several of the Bioxy mini-drones fly in, and they set off an explosion, knocking everyone to the ground. Dylan then calls out to Keenan asking what is he doing, and before he can give an answer, Zonglun says that he'll handle this. He fires a blast at both Dylan and Bioxy, hitting them both with 2 of the Staros spores, and then he slaps the control spore onto his own face, shouting that it's time to take control of their minds. Zonglun then orders Dylan to choke Bioxy, and Zongdan then asks what is he doing? This isn't how we win our war. Keenan then taps Zonglun, stating that he needs to let Batman and Wonder Woman go. And Zonglun tells him that they're enemies to our ideals. Keenan grits his teeth, stating that he will say it one more time. Let them go! Zonglun shouts to the others that this man has proven himself to be a traitor. Freedom fighters! Kill him! Everyone jumps on Keenan, and before Keenan can throw them off, he sees his father standing there, not helping him. As Keenan is punched, he notices that he's bleeding, which means his invulnerability isn't working again. Goes to him and fires her gun, locking Keenan's hands together, and then throws him into the water. Zongdan then draws his blades, asking Zonglun, what has he done? A short while later, back at Omen's lab, Ming Ming looks at the computer and says that it seems that they have a visitor. Suddenly, the doors open and Zongdan walks in, bloodied from fighting, holding Keenan's lifeless body. He asks them, please, help me save my son. Later, as Keenan opens his eyes, he feels his face burning, and he sees Ming Ming holding a giant solar ray pointed right at him. Keenan asks what's happening, and Ming Ming says Bioxy had a theory that his powers might be like Superman's, and that the intense solar energy could restore them, but it doesn't seem to be. Ming Ming puts away the ray gun, stating that maybe it's something else. But what if all of this is about your key? Maybe you just need to better align yourself with what Superman would do. Every time you get overly emotional, it's like you let all of your ki escape. So maybe you should try focusing on what Superman's intention is. Become one with that. Keenan looks at her and says that she's making no sense right now, and Ming Ming heads out stating, either way, we're gonna need to go back and see Dr. Omen. As the two run out, Omen is pointing a gun at Zhang Dane. Ming Ming asks if the two of them could hold off annihilating each other for a second, they have a problem. Ming Ming changes the screen to show a plane taking off, and Omen explains that the plane is hijacked by the Freedom Fighters. They're heading to Zhongnanhai like a missile. Zhang Dan says, allow me to stop them. I designed all of their weapons. I know all of their weaknesses. Omen lifts her gun and shoots Zhang Dane with a small device, stating that it's a compliance device. Once he's completed his mission, he will surrender or his heart will explode. And Keenan tells him that Omen has a thing for compliance devices. Let's just go save China. A short while later, as Keenan and Zhang Dane get into position to board the stolen aircraft, Omen reports that she just spoke with her liaison and Zhongnanhai. They have roughly 20 minutes to bring the Freedom Fighters down before the Great 10 arrive and blow up the entire place, passengers included. Keenan gets up and tells his father to open up the back, and Zhang Dane asks what about his powers. Keenan tells him that there's no time. He's trying to reactivate him. Just trust him, okay? The back hatch begins to open, and Keenan steps to the ledge, taking a deep breath, trying to focus on what Ming Ming said about aligning his ki with that of Superman's. Suddenly, there's a warmth coming from deep inside of him, and he feels his powers returning, and he jumps out shouting that this is the job for new Superman. As Keenan is smacked onto the plane, he leans up stating, haha, I can't fly, but no broken bones, that's a start. Zhang Dane begins to lower the airlock down to connect to the planes, and once Zhang Dane jumps down, he asks Keenan if he can make a hole. He balls his fists up, creating sparks from them, and he says that he's pretty sure he can. Seconds later, he punches into the plane, and Zhang Lun shouts, asking how did they survive. He fires a spore at Keenan, but Keenan catches it, stating, ew, this thing feels grosser than it looks. Suddenly, a small paper throwing star cuts into Keenan's shoulder, and that's when Folding Paper Man unfolds before Keenan. He says, wait, that paper ninja star is a freedom fighter? As Paper tells him, that's right. Keenan slaps the spore on his face, and then everyone falls over. Keenan says that was easy. And as Zhang Lun tells everyone to get him, everyone with spores in their faces begin to claw at Keenan, and he sighs, stating, me and my big mouth. Dylan then pushes her way through, grabbing Keenan by the throat, and he thinks that he just has to think back to his homework. Starro was defeated by extreme cold. He just needs a freezer. Keenan tells Dylan that he's gonna have to put her in a headlock now, but as she punches him in the gut, he says, maybe not. He looks over to see Byaxi, and he says that he's gonna take care of Tubby first. He runs over, grabbing our tubby Chinese Batman Byaxi, slamming his head into the freezer, stating, oh, come on, please work. And a few moments later, Byaxi says that if he values his hands, he would let go. Keenan hugs him, telling him, you have no idea how happy I am that you're okay. And Byaxi says, Batman doesn't hug. Also heads up. Dylan runs in, grabbing him, and Byaxi asks if he could do a favor, create a hole in the wall. Not so big that it would completely decompress the cabin and kill us, though. Keenan kicks back, using his foot to create a hole, and Byaxi says that was such a dainty kick, but it works. He then places a small device into the hole, converting the air that passes through into a hyper-freeze. As the temperature begins to lower, the spore falls off of Dylan's face, and she asks, why are we holding hands? And Keenan laughs, telling him, ha! Man, Byaxi really is Batman. The other freedom fighters run in to fight, but Dylan then stops him, telling them, look, we can't fight right now, we have another problem. Look out the window. Outside, August, General in Iron, tells the other members of the Great 10 that what they are looking at is no longer a commercial airliner. It is a threat to the nation of China. Dylan, along with Byaxi and the other freedom fighters, fly out, and Dylan shouts that they're gonna leave right now. This aircraft is under the protection of the Justice League of China. Iron laughs, stating, we shall teach these insolent children a lesson. Attack! Back inside of the cockpit, Zhang Dane struggles with his brother Zhang Lun as he notices Keenan coming at him and hits him with a blast. With Keenan's invulnerability, though, he walks through it, grabbing Zhang Lun's gloves, crushing them, stating, you needed that, right? Zhang Lun shouts, it doesn't matter! I know how to handle you and your powers! And he turns, blasting Zhang Dane. With Keenan's emotions running wild, Zhang Lun begins to beat into him, and he shouts, this is for the greater good! Keenan picks himself up, ripping the control spore off of Zhang Lun, and he says, I don't need superpowers to take you out. As he punches over and over, Zhang Dane tells him that he needs to leave. Zhang Lun is going to turn himself into a living bomb. Zhang Lun's body begins to brighten up, and Zhang Dane jumps on top of him, shielding Keenan from the blast. Keenan tells him to just hang on, his friends are coming to help, and Zhang Dane leans back, telling him, you just need to promise me something. Carry on your mother's fight. Keenan grabs onto him, asking, what do you mean? What is that supposed to mean? The only thing I know for sure is I don't want anyone I care about to get hurt, ever. Zhang Dane tells him, that's a good place to start. Superman. Now figure out how to care about everyone else. As Zhang Dane takes his last breath, he falls over. A few days later, Keenan goes to visit his mother's grave and now his father's grave. He tells Dylan and Byaxi that they both died on airplanes and now they're both buried here. His father had said that it was the Ministry of Self-Reliance that killed his mother, and he had proof, and he wants to know exactly who it was that ordered her death. Byaxi tells him that he'll do some digging, and Dylan says that she'll help too. And Keenan says, wait, is that against protocol? The three join hands and Byaxi says, starting today, we have our own protocols. Meanwhile, back with Omen, she makes her way down into the secret lab and makes her way to a large test tube. She tells Zong Dane that he never knew how to keep safe. Fortunately, her compliance device makes his return a possibility. She's going to find a way for them to work together. That, she promises, my love. And there you have it, the conclusion to New Superman's opening issues. Now, seriously, I really need to know if you want more of New Superman, because we've now done part 1, which is the origin, and part 2, which is the rest of that volume. But there is like 20-something issues to the New Superman storyline, and I have truly been enjoying it. So let me know by giving this video a like, or letting me know in the comments down below. Benny, we want to know more about the Chinese superhero front, because there are a lot more than just the Chinese Superman and Justice League. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Dollar Shave Club. If you guys go to www.dollarshaveclub.com/Comicstorian, you can get for just $5 your first month of daily essentials. It's a starter kit, which includes executive razors, trial-size versions of the shave butter, body cleansers, and One Wipe Charlie butt wipes. That's right, it's only $5 with free shipping. And after that, the razors are just a few bucks a month. You never have to run out of them because Dollar Shave Club covers down for you, giving it all right to your door. So you can just keep reading comic books and playing video games, and they will bring you the stuff so that you smell and look amazing. So if you want the executive handle and executive razor cartridges every month, along with Dr. Carver's Easy Shave Butter, the Wanderer Calming Body Cleanser, and the One Wipe Charlie's the #1 way to clean up after number 2, you just go ahead and click the link www.dollarshaveclub.com/Comicstorian.